Hi bro, you're on Time Machine with Ted and Tod channel. Today we dive into another story from the Einstein brothers. Welcome, and let's go.
Some 8-track company. And if that wasn't rough enough, he had to deal with an evil babysitter named Vic, making him feel pretty miserable. But hold on, there's a silver lining to this tale. Things took a turn for the better when he got his very own fairy godparents. Yep, Cosmo and Wanda. On March 14th, 1972, Crocker would save Timmy's father from a car accident, and because of his heroics, March 15th would be declared Denzel Crocker Day. So the next day, he would go to the city hall where the whole city was gathered to celebrate his heroics. However, he accidentally spilled the beans about his fairies in front of the whole town. And this leads to a major cleanup operation by Jorgen von Strangle, who obviously had to erase Crocker's memory of ever having those fairies. Additionally, an overdose of Forget-a-Sin from the memory wipers left Crocker horribly disfigured, which is why he looks so, well, not pleasant in the present. Poor guy. And to make matters even worse, since everyone in the town forgot about all the nice things he did with his fairies, they assumed he must be some angry mob and started chasing him down. However, amidst the chaos, Crocker cleverly left a note to himself reminding him about the existence of fairies. So, even if his memories were wiped, he had this little secret weapon to keep him obsessed with proving that fairies were real and out there in the world. 1982 was the big year for Denzel, and after 4 years of intense research in college, his moment had finally come. A grand seminar was held, and all the big shots, military officials, and the brightest minds of the country were present. Denzel was all set to reveal the mind-blowing truth about the existence of fairies. But, oh boy, of course, things didn't quite go as planned. When he suggested putting collars on kids to control their fairies, the whole room burst into laughter, dismissing his idea as a big old joke. Even after everyone laughed at him, he continued to make plans for catching fairies. In 1992, Crocker joins the elementary school because the school has kids, and kids have fairies. I'm sure you can connect the dots here. From that day onwards, he became the villain who would purposely torment kids to lure out their fairy godparents. But, on a side note, since everyone's memory was wiped clean by Jorgen, not even Wanda and Cosmo remember the time they were the godparent to Denzel Crocker. Now, let's talk about Timmy's parents. You know what's the most interesting part of their existence? Even after a whopping 10 seasons of the show, we still don't know their real names. It's like the biggest secret ever. So, the entire fan base, and even the characters in the show, just call them Mom and Dad. Sometimes they're given the polite title of Mr. and Mrs. Turner, but their true, original names remain hidden in the shadows. So first we have Dad, who is literally in a head-to-head competition with Cosmo for being the dumbest character in the entire show. And then there's Mom. Mom's family can actually be traced back to this little country in Eastern Europe called Ustinkistan. Her folks, Gladys and Vlad, moved to Dimsdale somewhere in the 1950s to start up their yak-in-the-box fast food chain. Sometime in the early 60s, they had a daughter whom we call Mom. Then, in 1972, when Dad was a kid, he had this huge crush on Mom, but she didn't even know he existed. So he hatched this genius plan to win a marathon and impress her with the trophy. But here's the crazy part. Winning that trophy was like the most important thing ever for the timeline. If he had lost, he would have been sent to dictator school of all places. From there, he would have graduated with flying colors, taken over the world, and who knows what else. But anyways, he won the race and he managed to impress her for the time being. However, Mom was all chummy with this guy named Sheldon Dinkelberg, and you could see Dad getting all jelly and jealous. Fast forward 10 years, Dad's a janitor and Mom's a cheerleader at Dimsdale High. And wouldn't you know it, Dad falls head over heels for her all over again. But Sheldon's already taken the spotlight. Turns out luck was on Dad's side when Sheldon struck it rich with those parachute pants he invented. With all that money in his pocket, Sheldon ditched Mom, leaving the door wide open for Dad to swoop in and be the shoulder that she needed to cry on. In the year 1992, Mom and Dad were already happily married, and to add to their joy, Mom was pregnant with Timmy. They were super excited to move into their new home, where they planned to welcome their precious baby into the world. Dad was so thrilled about having a baby girl that he went all out buying girly pink stuff. That explains all the pictures of Timmy in pink dresses. Anyways, there was a surprise waiting for them right next door. Sheldon Dinkelberg. Can you imagine Dad's dismay at having Sheldon as a neighbor? Anyways, on March 21st, 1992, Timmy entered the world all cute and cuddly. You'd think his parents would be super careful with their firstborn, right? Well, they were actually quite neglectful of him. When Timmy was just a baby, his parents ran off to who knows where and left him with Pappy Turner. Now, Pappy was an old and forgetful man, so he let Timmy suck on a pacifier all day, which gave poor Timmy those huge, horrible buck teeth. When Timmy was 8, his father had an unhealthy obsession with recording everything that he ever did. He had huge files of videotapes that documented Timmy's entire childhood life. Meanwhile, Mom was feeling overwhelmed with motherly duties and wanted some time to herself, so she suggested hiring a babysitter. Now, Dad was initially against the idea, but after they convinced Timmy that they would be gone for a long time, he called the babysitter himself. Despite Dad's attempts to stop it, Mom insisted. And that's when Vicky entered Timmy Turner's life. Vicky seemed like the perfect caretaker, impressing Mom and Dad with her antics. She even offered to videotape everything Timmy did so Dad wouldn't miss a thing. Tempted by the idea, Mom and Dad agreed and left Timmy with Vicky. Now, as soon as Timmy's parents left, Vicky turned into a total nightmare. She used a flamethrower to toast poor Timmy's toys and then trashed his dad's videotapes. From then on, Timmy's life went straight down the pooper. For a whole year, Vicky made him do every chore imaginable, scrubbing toilets, doing dishes, and even mopping the floors. So, when Timmy had had enough of Vicky's nonsense, he chucked that lucky 9-ball at the wall out of frustration. And bam! 2 fairy godparents, Cosmo and Wanda, popped out of there like magic. From that moment on, Timmy's life took a wild turn for the better. Cosmo and Wanda granted his every wish, making his days a whole lot more enjoyable. And oh boy, Timmy didn't hold back when it came to getting back at Vicky with the help of his fairy godparents. From trapping her in jelly to showering her with wet cream and even putting her giant cherry on her head, he sure knew how to get creative with his revenge. Oh, and turning her into a fly? That right there's some serious payback.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.